Now, Hattie,
Yes.
when you are released, just
This
say
call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
everything right now is possibly up to the governor. Just
Absolutely.
when you are released, upon your release date, because we're not looking at 60, we're not looking at 50, we're looking at soon. Okay,
Absolutely.
what are your plans to get when you get back in the community to show the community that you are an asset versus a liability?
Absolutely. So the motto that I live by is "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Mahatma Gandhi said it, and it. I used to think that I had to do all these grandiose things to change the world, but to be honest, it's just quite simple. If I want it to be a peaceful world, I need to be peaceful. If I want it to be a world filled with kindness and just sympathy and compassion, then that's what I need to be. So my smallest goal is just being that in here because if you Google me, you'll see that KFC girl monster. Oh my goodness! But if you get on Facebook and you'll be like, who is Hattie? The ORW site of all the people who've been here and be like, oh, I love her. She's so kind. She's this. And that's how I've started my whole legacy is just being kind to people, showing people that, you don't have to let anything overwhelm and just overcome you. I'm a victor. Small goals, I definitely want to do counseling and go counseling with my daughter and reconnect with my family because it's been so long. My plans are to relocate, of course, because I don't really want to go back to Youngstown to a place that is filled with nothing but despair. I want to start a women empowerment movement. I hear that there's a lot of those out here in the world, but I can create my own because being in prison surrounded by all these women, I've noticed how we're so alike and we share the same struggles, the same hurts. However, we're so divided. We're so catty, we're so nitpicky. We want to tear each other apart instead of taking 2 seconds to build each other up. So I really want to start a nonprofit organization that just brings women together. And just, because you never know how you can be there for somebody. When you start to open up your mouth, you realize somebody else is feeling the same way. And once somebody feels like, hey, I'm not alone in the struggle, they're going to want to be like, well, who else is like that? How else can we help? So that's definitely what I want to do. I also want to be a mentor out there, and try to save young teenage mothers because I am and was a teenage mother. I had my daughter 3 weeks after I turned 14. So I know that struggle, and I also know what led me to having sex that young and what led me to getting pregnant that young. And to be honest, I know that I have the knowledge and wisdom to be able to change lives of the youth. That is my passion, just to be there for younger adults and young children because they are our future. And if no one starts there to try to change their thinking or love on them because that's what they need, then the world will just keep getting worse. So we have to start with our children, and I just want to live, not just, get the flashy cars, but just empower people in general because people need uplifted. Like it really just took me coming to prison and just seeing how messed up the world is and how hurt people are and just what they truly need. Like a lot of people don't even know themselves. So if I can be a speaker to somebody and just give somebody that wisdom, then I know that I can make changes. I can make people not come back to prison because then they can discover who they really are and that they no longer have to live for somebody else and they can start living for themselves because that was my problem for so long. I thought I had to live and be perfect Hattie and be the other mama of the house and do this, but in all actuality, I can just be me and show up and everything's going to be okay. So if I impart that wisdom on people, then I'm pretty sure people will stop coming to prison. People will stop committing crimes because they know that, hey, there is another way. There is another option. I'm going to use my struggle and testify and tell people like, hey, this is what I did. This is where I come from. And this is who I am today. If I can go through all that and be this person, I can prevent you from leading down that dark path and actually shed some light on your life and you can be empowered. And so that's basically my biggest goal when I get out of here, just empowering the world. I'm going to change the world. Just you watch. Just know that you knew me first.
Amen to that. Hey, hey, I know her. Now, let me ask you this question. Now, you say you're gonna leave Youngstown, Ohio, when you are free and you get out. Now, I noticed
Yes.
that a lot of women from Ohio, for some reason, after they remove themselves from prison, a lot of women relocate to Michigan. Have you thought about doing that? Because a lot of women, they find other opportunities here in Michigan.
Well, I have not thought about leaving the state. I actually just have considered just leaving the city for once because I know that being that I've done all this time and I have PRC and all that, so I haven't thought about relocating to a state. I've thought smaller than that, but I'm definitely not opposed against it because there are a lot of opportunities and people who are just on prison reform in Michigan. You know, I've heard a lot of people who are actually doing stuff for people who have come out of this situation. So I'm definitely open to the idea, but I haven't really discussed or thought about my 5-year, 10-year plan of which state I would like to go to. I know I
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
know I do not want to spend the rest of my life in Ohio.
Okay. You got pregnant and you had your daughter right before your 14th birthday or after your 14th birthday?
3 weeks after I turned 14.
3 weeks after you turned 14.
Yes.
Now, what made you start being sexually active that young?
Well, it was definitely out of sheer curiosity. I'm basically the youngest child in my mother's house. She was always at work, boredom. I was sick at a very young age. Boys gave me a lot of attention, and I liked that. You know, I liked the attention that they gave me. And for so long, didn't nobody know I wasn't a virgin because I was so thick, and people just they never knew. And so I started getting attention, and first guy that was this guy that I basically had known for 6 or 7 years, and I trusted him. And so I had sex with him, lost my virginity, and after that, you know, it was just on the popping. I liked the way sex felt, and you know, it basically kind of just made me feel like something, and more than just nothing, because my self-esteem was extremely low, you know, and my father's presence definitely, his lack of presence, should I say, definitely played a part in that.
Okay. Now, with that being said and done, was the father of your daughter, was he much older than you or was he the same age as you?
No, we were about the same age.
Okay, that's cool. Now, something I want to ask you, and this is a deep question. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to go back to Mr. Kaluza for a second here.
Absolutely.
If you had the opportunity before Mr. Kaluza passed away, if you had the opportunity to say anything to Mr. Kaluza, what is it that you would have said or told Mr. Kaluza?
Well, I definitely would have said more because, like I said, I was able to say what I said to him at the court, but I definitely would have looked him in the eye and said it so that he can see the remorse and just the sympathy that I had towards him. And I would say, Mr. Kaluza, I deeply apologize that my board decisions led to this. You know, I just pray for your healing, and I just please forgive me because I never ever intended for you to get hurt. That was not part of the plan. That was not something that I would have ever dreamed of doing to you or anyone else. And I just hope that you can forgive me, is what I would have said to him if he could look me square in the eye, because you can always sense somebody's sincerity by just looking at them.
That is so true. You can. Now, some people they wear their mask. Those disguises very well. That you some cases you can't tell, but I'm quite sure that Mr. Kaluza, after hearing everything and seeing everything, they know who the aggressor was. He knew what happened and knew whose fault it was. So, with that being said, I want to thank you, Hattie, for even just sitting down, breaking the ice here with Real World Podcast, and letting us know your side of the truth. Letting the audience know who you are. You're not the KFC girl. You're not a monster, that monster that the media portrays you to be. You are a mother, a sister, an aunt. You were a college student. And that's something that the media really didn't put out there about you, was not really a person that was not in trouble.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this before we do end it. Like, were you still going to college when this happened, or you had just stopped going?
No, I was still going to college when this happened, and it basically, they basically, in the county, they sent me a letter and basically just told me that, hey, we are expelling you from college. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I was distraught. Like, who gets expelled from college? And it was definitely embarrassing. But I had just changed my major because I was going originally for just pre-kindergarten studies because it's something that I really wanted to do. I just really wanted to be a preschool teacher and do all of that.
Wow. And they expelled you without even giving you, letting you have your due date in trial. They just let you, told you you're expelled right then and there.
Yep, sent me a letter to the county. I called my mom crying in tears, and she was basically telling me like, "So you got bigger things to worry about than being expelled from college."
Right. Now, let me ask you: do you and your mother still have a good relationship? Relationship got repaired or anything of that nature?
Well, to be honest, our relationship actually took off and is one of the best bonds that I have inside here now. She writes me 2 to 3 times a week, and we basically got stronger here. Our relationship was restored here.
That's beautiful.
She's one of my biggest supporters.
That's great. That is great. I'm happy to hear that, and I'm proud to hear that. And the next step is now you and your sister. You guys got to get that bond back. You know
Yeah,
that bond.
This call is
I
originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Even though, like you said earlier on, you guys have not had that conversation, but do. I possibly believe your sister may feel that hold some type of guilt that you're there because of what she told you. If you got 30 days to get out,
absolutely.
but
And I know that deep within there's no love lost. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing is that no matter what, I know there's no love lost, and I just know that it's a season for everything under the sun. So I know in due time, we will restore our relationship, be it however it may happen. It's just I have finally gotten to the point where I can't live for everyone else. And a lot of my relationships, even with family at home, was me living for everyone else. And now it's just like I have to live for myself. And then finding myself, I see that my family is right there along the way. So I know that that'll happen one day, that we'll just be back or even better, because now I'm grown.
there you go. Well, Real World Podcast audience, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this show. And before we leave here, Hattie, do you mind? Do you want to share your information just in case any of the ladies here or any of the men who watch my show may want to reach out to you and write you? Do you want to leave that information?
All right. If they want to go on jpay.com, my name is Hattie, Hattie, Gilbert, Gilbert, and my inmate number is 73108. If anyone prefers snail mail, use the same name and number, and my address is 1479 Collins Avenue, Marysville, Ohio, 43040.
Snail mail. You ain't never lied. Well, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Now, Hattie, let me ask you a question before we leave because I ask all my guests this when they come back on. I have this show that I'm putting together. It's going to be a once a week live stream, and it's going to be called "You Be the Judge." That's where after all the people hear your interview, you call in and I live stream you and I talking the way we're talking now, and people are going to be watching us and they're going to type questions that they want to ask, and it's going to be like a members only type thing, and
Okay.
members are going to be able to ask you questions, and I'll read them off to you and you can answer them. Are you willing to sit down and be a part of You Be the Judge?
Absolutely, I am. Thanks for considering me.
Oh, no
Such an
doubt.
honor. I
No doubt.
appreciate that.
Hey, you are more than welcome, and we got you. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and we out. Peace and love.
And all of that.
There you go.